Hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
HBO Max will be launching May 27th. The question is, will you be subscribing?
Finally, Warner Media has said when HBO Max will be launching. We all been curious. It's almost at the end of April. Why haven't they said anything about HBO Max when we know it's supposed to come out in May? But finally, it is here.
Oh yeah, we're gonna start with just some of the general information for those of you who may be curious, but we also kind of want to talk about what this may mean for other things like the DC Universe and overall how AT&T is doing. So to start, HBO Max will have a sprawling catalog of hit shows and movies, plus a big budget slate of exclusive originals packed with stars. HBO Max from AT&T's Warner Media is investing billions of dollars in the service, its budgets for original programming, and the expensive deals to stream popular reruns like Friends and The Big Bang Theory.
And how much will HBO Max cost? About $15 a month.
I'm broke as shit.
Compared to rival streaming services launching before HBO Max, the pricing may feel steep to many consumers. Disney Plus is $7 a month or free if you have Verizon like me, suck it. And Apple TV Plus is $5 a month if you feel like wasting your time.
That's perfect. So as we previously mentioned, May 27th is the launch date for the United States, but everyone else internationally will have to wait. As I said, expansions will prioritize Latin America and Europe. Latin America will get HBO Max in 2021, the company said.
Another thing, HBO Max seems to be a fairly good title, and Disney Plus, because if you are an NBC fan, they're gonna call their shit Peacock. I mean, how did anybody think that was a good idea to call it Peacock? Because you know everybody's gonna be like, hey, did you get cock?
Hold on, let me whip out cock and see what's on there.
They call you the Big Show?
Some of the things that will be included in HBO Max will be the full set of The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, and the Matrix trilogies. Nothing said about Harry Potter though, which is to me one of the biggest franchises that Warner Brothers has ever produced, but I'm sure it'll be on there as well. The Lego movies, and then something very key for us comic fans, unlike the DC Universe app, which for some reason couldn't do this, DC films like Joker, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, Shazam, Aquaman, and every Batman and Superman movie of the last 40 years will be on there as well. For HBO Max, you're not going to be left out in the water about watching some of the newer DCEU franchise movies. They will be on HBO Max, unlike that shitty DC Universe app.
It's gonna be huge. I don't know, that was my shitty impersonation.
Oh, is that supposed to be Trump? I didn't know what that was supposed to be.
That's what I was shooting for, but it didn't come out as it sounded in my head. So moving on. They're going to have classic movies like Wizard of Oz, Casablanca, Citizen Kane, The Shining, and all that other good stuff that people are clamoring for. It also sounds like HBO Max is planning on focusing highly on some original content. Originally, they had planned to have 31 originals in its first year and then amp that up to 50 originals in the second year, but those timelines may need to be adjusted because of disruptions due to the virus.
But on the not so original content, on top of that, AT&T has been licensing outside hit shows to pad HBO Max's catalog. The most eye-popping have been a reported $425 million deal to win the rights of all episodes of 90s hit Friends, which has left Netflix to start streaming on HBO Max at launch.
Netflix will keep Friends through next year in a $100 million
They're paying $100 million, right? For 1 year of Friends, and then The Office too.
You know what that is though? That's like nostalgia.
Nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
So all viewing right now is nostalgia.
A reported $500 million deal to stream The Big Bang Theory. And you're telling me they're not going to spend $40 million on a nearly finished Justice League movie.
Defense rests. Everybody can fuck off.
At launch on May 27th, some of the originals will include the new Looney Tunes cartoons,
Craftopia, the YouTuber-hosted craft series,
and the much anticipated The Not Too Late Show with Elmo.
What kind of shit is that?
Some other original content that they want to produce later down the line is a documentary about Anthony Bourdain. Spoilers, after the Clinton comments, the documentary ends.
Oh, hey. Fuck you.
So what devices can stream HBO Max? HBO has said that the Max service will be available on a very wide array of devices. This includes phones, tablets, the web, connected TVs, and game consoles. Which again, that is a step ahead of DC Universe that struggled to get their app on anything, it seemed like, at their launch.
Hopefully they learned their lesson from DC Universe and figured out how to actually properly launch an app. And speaking of DC Universe,
nice segue.
HBO Max and DC Universe's relationship still being worked out. According to Newsarama, HBO Max's chief content officer Kevin Riley said this week that the relationship between the two is still being ironed out, but hopes both can continue.
Riley states, "We're working out what those mechanics are. We have to figure out those 2 subscriptions, and we haven't worked out the mechanics of what that's going to look like." The Hollywood Reporter reports that one option for the DCU originals to air a day early on that platform before dropping on HBO Max. That is a strategy Warner Media has already announced to use for DC Universe's Stargirl series, which will also air on the CW.
So that sounds like a terrible idea. When we all thought the DC Universe was going to be absorbed by HBO Max, it sounds like they're going to still try to keep it separated. And now you get exclusivity. Ooh, yeah. When you have the DC Universe app, you get to see whatever original content they have a day before HBO Max, a whole day.
What a joke this entire DC Universe app is becoming to be. As Matt mentioned, yeah, we thought the app was going to be absorbed in HBO Max. That's why a lot of the content was being pulled off. We did a watch along with Batman Forever and couldn't freaking find it on the app. So at this point, what is the point of having the DC Universe app if they aren't going to have much content on there? It seems that they're stripping certain things away and only keeping with a handful of their original series like Doom Patrol, which sounds like it might be on HBO Max as well, but Titans, the Harley Quinn show. For the most part, DC Universe app is kind of floundering, it seems like.
A DC Universe app where you can't watch all the DC movies, but they will be on HBO Max.
That does not make sense.
Speaking of DC shows that you're not going to be able to watch on the DC Universe app because they will be on HBO Max, we have a possible lineup of DC projects that are in development for the upcoming streaming service.
First, we have Green Lantern, which was one of the most promising projects in development for HBO Max. The series is in active development and is spearheaded by Greg Berlanti, the mastermind producer behind the CW's Arrowverse shows. Whew, can't wait for that.
The definition of mastermind must not mean the same here to Newsweek to me. Doom Patrol Season 2, it wasn't exclusive for the standalone DC Universe streaming service, but during Warner Media's presentation of HBO Max in October, the company announced that Doom Patrol's second season is slated to debut on HBO Max and DC Universe. What the fuck is the point of the DC Universe app? I just don't get it.
This article even mentions the change in the show's rollout could be a sign that the DC Universe and HBO Max are headed on a collision course this summer.
Irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
Some of the other DC projects are Aquaman King of Atlantis, DC Superhero High,
where you find out weed is legal in the United States,
DC's Strange Adventures,
where you find out shrooms is legal in the United States,
and DMZ, which is one of the lesser known projects in development from DC Comics.
Lesser known because his cousin Run DMC is much more well known.
Boo this man!
This is as of April 22nd, AT&T lost another 897,000 premium TV subscribers in Q1 of 2020 as the DirecTV owner's string of massive customer losses continues. An AT&T executive today said that the company is moving ahead with a company-wide cost-cutting program.
Oh, there goes DMZ.
AT&T said the latest customer loss was quote unquote due to competition and customers rolling off promotional discounts, as well as lower gross ads from the continued focus on adding higher valued customers. But yet they don't want to offer HBO Max for less than $15 a month.
And don't want to absorb DC Universe into their HBO Max, continue as a separate app.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
While AT&T continues to make excuses about losing several subscribers, Netflix is turning into a profit machine. The leading streamer saw a surge in new members with 15.8 million subscriber additions, as stay-at-home orders around the world have driven demand for in-home entertainment options like Netflix. As HBO Max tries to stumble out the gate with their Elmo Too Hot for TV, Netflix is over here surging like no other due to the fact that a lot of people are home, which kind of also leads up to the thing where I kept seeing people talking about people aren't going to be interested in streaming services because they can't afford it right now. A streaming service is going to struggle, but then you look at this, they shot up 15.8 million subscribers. The foothold that Netflix has worked towards in their international marketing, the fact that they just are so big, so dominant, And the fact that people thought that Disney Plus in any way was going to remove that crown, or that HBO Max or the cock is going to remove that crown from Netflix, it's just not going to happen. The foothold that they have internationally is going to hold them out for a long time. As long as they don't do what Blockbuster did, Netflix will always be the king.
As we posed a question at the beginning of this episode, will you be getting HBO Max? I myself am actually one of the 900,000 customers who have left DirecTV and gone to Hulu Live TV. We have all of these streaming services available to us now, and it seems like HBO Max is kind of up in the air. I actually thought that maybe they would have moved up their launch date with all of this pandemic and everything going on, but they're still staying strong. They're going with May 27th, and they're gonna stick at the $15 a month. So to me, I'm kind of up in the air on it. I love the fact they are going to have all this DC content on there, but what I would like to see personally is them absorb the DC Universe app, because that thing is just a joke right now.
And unlike their competition, the Cog and Disney Plus, they actually are going to have about 18,000 movies on their streaming service. So unlike Disney Plus, where it seems to be limited time, or obviously nowhere near the library that Disney holds when they have the Fox library as well, it looks like WB and AT&T are going to put everything they have out on the streaming service, or at least that's what they're saying they're going to do. So that does bring a little bit of enticement to it, that the fact that all those movies, everything that pretty much Warner Brothers has any kind of stake in, is going to be on HBO Max at launch.
Did you say steak?
So that'll wrap this episode up, guys. Let us know, will you be getting HBO Max at launch, or do you need something a little more enticing to get HBO Max? Or are you part of those people that will more than likely get it for free, or be part of some kind of promotion because you already have HBO from some other source as well? Are you waiting for the Snyder Cut, or that other Justice League movie, Zack Snyder's Justice League movie, to come out before you even consider HBO Max? Let us know in the comments.
And if you want to support us in addition to YouTube, we do have a Patreon, and thank you to all of our current Patreon subscribers and supporters. We are also pretty active on some social media. We are mostly on Twitter, but occasionally on Facebook and Instagram as well if you want to follow us on there.
In case I don't see you,
good afternoon, good evening, and good night.